Hello and welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to be talking about Star Wars Legion, the tabletop war game based in the Star Wars universe. This is just going to be my review of the game. As it is a review by me, this is going to be based solely on my opinion as well as my experience with playing the game. I'm not going to be talking about too much facts here besides some of the changes that they make, which are facts, but most of this is just going to be my pure opinion on all of the factions, including the pseudo-faction Shadow Collective. I do play all four factions, including the Shadow Collective faction, which is the pseudo-faction. So really there's 5 factions if you want to include that. So that I'm going to be mentioning things and how I believe each faction might get affected by it, and with certain cards that are coming up that I'm going to talk about. But I'm going to have to address the cons first when it comes to this game. And the first con that I can think of is me and my buddy, who I play with primarily, talked about it, and the faction that got hit the most with these rule changes, as well as the whole rule change in general, is the Empire. It just had 2 units removed on top of it already underperforming with the new rule set, and those 2 units are the Emperor himself and the Royal Guard. Now, these 2 units being removed make a whole lot of sense thematically to me. And now, as much as I love the Emperor being on the battlefield, I think AMG had a little trouble getting that past Lucasfilm's licensing or whatever, and being able to have him on the battlefield with his current setup, which is just really sad to see, because I really like some of his gimmicky gameplay. I used to run a double bounty list with the Emperor against my buddy. I ran it a few times. It was super fun to play. The Emperor has some really fun command cards to play. One where he basically nukes himself in order to kill a bunch of units, which is just super fun. But the Royal Guards also left, and this is just really sad because they are one of the probably coolest units or coolest people that I can think of when it comes to the Empire for the original trilogy. They look awesome. They're so mysterious in the original trilogy. We don't really get to see them too much, but it's just so sad to see them gone from the game for thematic reasons. But yeah, that's just really sad to see. Overall, the Empire is underperforming in this. My buddy used to love playing the Empire, and in the last 10 games I think that we've played, all in the new rule set, neither one of us have picked up the Empire to play against each other, just because of how bad they feel to play right now. It's either over points or just their units are underperforming compared to the point cost of other units in other factions. But yeah, the Empire feels really bad to play right now. I will say, before I actually made this video, literally yesterday, and could get slides together for it, we were just talking about how good the Rebels feel to play and how much better they feel to play versus old Rebels. So, it comes in balances there, I guess, because you lost the power of the Empire, but the Rebels feel really fun to play, if not overperforming, honestly, in our games at least. But let's go on to some of the other things that I do not like that they removed from the current rule sets, and that is some of the universal upgrades. We're going to start with the ones that I don't really care too much that they got rid of, which is Aggressive Tactics and the Gonk Droid here on the right. I know Aggressive Tactics was very big when it came to competitive play because of all the surges you can hand out on the Republic side of things, as well as I believe it was ran often in the Empire or even the droids or Separatists. But it's alright when it comes to my casual kind of play style. I want to start playing tournaments, so I put it on this list because I listened to someone and I was like, man, I I primarily love the GAR, and they always took it in the GAR. I can see how it'd be really good in the GAR. I just haven't gone to any tournaments where it's really mattered to me, so that is why it's one of I could care less. I'm sure in the future when I do go to more tournaments, it's going to affect me a lot. I'm also really sad the Gonk droid is gone, just because, it's a Gonk droid. Like, who doesn't love a Gonk droid? And I believe it's the only Gonk droid that was in the game as of now. You can correct me if I'm wrong in the comments there, but I can't think of another Gonk droid in the game that is a true Gonk droid. But yeah, it's really sad to see. It is a little bit too good, though, so I can understand why they got rid of it, just for the power reason, giving that truck 2 shield. Pretty strong. My 2 least favorite removals when it came to universal upgrades was Battle Meditation and Comms Relay. And that's just because it gets rid of a lot of creative gameplay around giving out orders. Now, they said that they got rid of it because people were cheating in orders, which I can understand a little bit, I guess, but it's just really sad to see. And I think it gives an unnecessary nerf to certain factions. The primary faction I used both of these upgrades in was the Separatists, and especially for Cad Bane with Comms Relay, I don't think people are going to be taking Cad Bane as much now, just because Comms Relay, you had to take on Cad Bane, and it's just because he is so weak defensively overall that you wanted those extra dodges on him. And with the droids, it didn't hurt too much because you could always give that order to a droid and they could chain it along, which is probably honestly why they're getting rid of Comms Relay. But at the same time, it's just decreasing Cad's power level there, which just feels bad. And the same goes for Battle Meditation. I took it in armies where I wanted to give out orders to other units off of the character's card. And it's just really sad to see that both of those are going to be gone, and that creative gameplay aspect on that side of extra choices is gone, especially when it came to turns that you really needed a special forces unit to go, but you only had certain command cards in your hand. It felt great to play that, but sadly it is gone. I didn't put all of the upgrades that they removed in the game from here because some of them do make a lot of sense, like Esteemed Leader, and there's another leadership one that basically just extended the command range, and Esteemed Leader, I believe, gives backup if core are near the person who has it, which that has a weird interaction now with backup, which is why they got rid of it. And the other one, because I believe the new command rules are your commander can issue orders to anyone on the battlefield. You can also correct if I'm wrong on that one, but I believe that is why. So that one didn't really make sense to keep in the game there. We're now going to move on to certain things that I like about the changes when it comes to the rule changes in the game. And the first one, and probably most dramatic one to me, are the cover rules and the area terrain rules. We're going to talk about area terrain a little bit first because that one's a little bit newer since it just dropped April 15th. With it not being able to see through area terrain as long as the silhouette is higher than the unit that is trying to see over it. I think this is a really fun change, and you can make some really fun thematic or dynamic battlefields, which are just going to be really fun to play with. Also, units that are in the trees can shoot out, or in the area terrain, can shoot out, and if a unit is in the trees, any unit that is outside the trees can shoot into that unit. Me and my buddy are kind of mixed feelings about this. I overall really like it because of the dynamic battlefield and the overall changes. I think it's a really good change to the game and a lot more fun when it comes to making the battlefields. So overall, I like it. He's more on the fence about it because he's a little bit more grumpy, I guess. I don't know. But he just doesn't like it as much. That is his opinion, though, and this video is about my opinion, so who cares? We're going to move on to the general cover changes. I have up here on the left the general cover rules when it comes to obscuring movement units, and this is during the attack sequence in the rulebook. You can find it there. This is during the applied dodge and cover section. And really, the only change we're going to be looking at are the bottoms here. The roll, cover pool, and apply cover and determine cover. Cover between no cover, light cover, and heavy cover is the same. The only difference is when you're applying that cover, you roll 1 white dice for every hit that is in the attack pool that is against the defending unit, if that unit has cover. And based on your cover value, the shields are going to cancel out 1 always. But if you have heavy cover or cover value of 2, then the shields and surges are going to block out that on a white defensive dice. The main reason that I like this change is I would take some people like Kalani or Kraken and the Separatists, or even Leia, and a few of the generic commanders, Veers. I can't really think of one for the Gar because I mostly use like Anakin or Obi-Wan there. But they all have low weapon dice pools. Or Han. Oh, I think Han was the worst because I think he has 2 red dice and no sharpshooter as well, or he didn't. And I don't think Leia had sharpshooter. No, she does. Or Kalani and Kraken. I think Kraken had sharpshooter 1. But they always felt bad when it came to shooting into heavy cover, because old heavy cover just used to block 2 hits no matter what. So if you rolled 2 hits on those dice, it basically didn't matter. And the only thing that could get through is a crit, and so you're basically always rolling a 1 in 8 chance to get through that cover. And now it just feels so much better to take those small dice pools and be able to kill a 1 person or 2 people, maybe, if you're lucky, with those commander units. And it just feels so much better with that. Overall, I think this is a great change. It makes smaller dice pools a lot better versus where bigger dice pools are still like preferred, because you want to get as many hits and crits in as possible, but it doesn't make it so small dice pools do pretty much nothing, which I think is an amazing change to the game. The second biggest change I like is probably just the points value increase. I like seeing a bigger army on the field. I don't have a picture or anything for this. It's just a nice change that I thought I'd mention here. Points value increase. Now, that also comes with the thing of where the Separatists and Rebels are allowed to run more core, basically, and a lot more units, because their units are pretty much cheaper than both Gar and Empire units. So they have higher activation counts, which is why I believe them to be the top 2 factions right now, because higher activation counts is winning most games. And I know in tournaments there's some talk about people waffling around and like moving units slowly, and that kind of gameplay is not fun. But even like higher activation counts just allows you to activate your less important units first a lot of the time, especially if you're playing Separatists, or because a lot of those people will have orders on the field and you can just activate them before your important units go, leaving someone like a Gar player like myself. So I'm going to be a little whingy about this because I run like 10 activations and versus like 13, and like they're moving all their boring units, and I have to move like Anakin or Ahsoka now up. And it just feels bad because then you move them up and then they get shot a bunch by the other person's really good units. So yeah, overall, I really like seeing the higher points value. It does lead into the factor of the higher activation counts, which even if it was the lower points, it would still have the higher activation counts. It just means there's even more activations there than there was before. And I don't know if they've addressed it in tournament play as much. with time limits there, because I know you have certain time to play in games. I've not really played in that many tournaments or any tournaments at all. I would love to. Once I find some near me, there's just not a lot going on near me. So we'll just see, and I'll make another video whenever I play my first tournament, and that'll be kind of fun. Low activations can still win. I'm not saying like high activations always win, because they have more units or whatever. Lower activations still can win, and it's just how you play the game to me. It just always feels bad whenever your opponent has like 5 more activations than you. The third biggest rule change, in my opinion, and the one that I like the most, and of course I'm not addressing all the rule changes here. If you want a video like that, I can work on it. I have to just do a lot more research to make sure that I actually get the facts. But my third favorite change comes to most of the Force users in the game, and you know what that is. That's going to be deflect. And I'm a big thematic person. I love the theme, or the theme of deflect, being able to knock those blaster bolts back onto units who are shooting at your Force wielder, whether it be Dooku, whether it be Anakin, Obi-Wan, Darth Vader, anyone, Luke. It just feels so much better now that it's just always on, and you don't have to spend a dodge in order to activate it. While before you had to spend a dodge, it just feels a lot better and a lot more fun. I just got done playing a game the other day with the new Ahsoka card, using the Rebel Ahsoka, and her ability is much like Anakin's old one, which is basically just enhanced deflect, where all the surges you roll do wounds, and it's just so much fun to be able to rebound those blaster bolts and get a few wounds in, even if you're taking wounds yourself still. It just feels better overall, in my opinion. Allowing the Jedi and other Force wielders to deflect them just feels right for Star Wars, because that's what we always see in the movies. You hardly see any Force wielder take blaster bolts, and you can all say the dinosaur from Episode 2 versus Jango, because he got blaster bolted quite a few times. There's a few other Jedi who have, but it's always nice to see that. I will say that I can't wait until we get to a point where they add in just a bunch of the masteries. We already have 4 now: Shin, Soriso, Anakin's, Yoda's. Oh, we have a few others. We have 6 because of the Darksider ones too. So yeah, I'm just really excited to see more masteries come out of this. As well, I love Force wielders. I can't wait to see what they do in the future with all the Force wielders. There's a new customizable Force wielder coming later on this year. I can't wait for that. But I digress. I just think this is a really good change overall for the game. Being able to have your Force wielders feel more like Force wielders in the game just is amazing. And if you're running like a thematic campaign, or you're just having fun with the Jedi, it just feels great to play. Overall, those are my thoughts, though. In conclusion, however, I would like to say I think Legion overall is in a healthy state. I keep seeing people say that they're worried about the state of Legion. I think we're in a really good place right now with the rule changes. Even if you disagree with some of them, like I do, with some of them being removed, they might be removed for a reason. We have new units coming out this year. We have new units coming out next year. We have a bunch of new things coming that might just mix up the flavor of the game or power levels of the game. And maybe by this time in 3 months, I'll be talking about how the Empire's OP versus all the other factions. But right now, as it stands, the Empire is kind of weak. But I think overall, the game just is in a better place. And I can't wait to see where it grows from here, what people we can get, especially with the 4 new starters coming out later this year that you can see on stream now. It's just really fun to watch this game grow and be able to be a part of the community with this game. And I look forward to doing more videos on Legions. My next video is going to probably be reviewing Ahsoka, like I said, I just played a game with her, and my thoughts on her overall as a person. And if you want to see more of that, you can. I'm just going to keep making videos on Legion, I think, because they're easy. Well, they're not easy. They're something I can do in my spare time. I just had a kid, so that is why I have not been posting videos. If you are a regular subscriber, which I don't have many, but thank you so much for watching. And if you enjoyed, please like and subscribe. Thank you.